Hello, my name is Jeremy Senglin. Here's a little bit about me. Well, I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, and I stayed there 3 years of my life. I do not remember any of it. I moved to Texas after that, and I grew up in Arlington, Texas. As a kid, I had a great childhood. Both my parents, my mom and dad, and my older sister, Brittany Senglin. I just remember a lot of good times with my family. We're a close family, close group. We do a lot of things together, and we always make sure to spend time with each other, especially on holidays. I had a great childhood, grew up with a lot of friends around my neighborhood, and we grew up playing everything, kickball. We used to play this game called Foursquare, football all the time, basketball. I think that's where my competitive edge came from, never wanting to lose and always wanting to, go outside, and that's what motivated me in school, because I knew if I didn't do good in school and got in trouble in school, that I wasn't going to be able to go outside or play. Basketball wasn't my main focus growing up. It wasn't really my favorite sport either. Football was. I just, loved everything about it, from the, the contact, how you throw the ball, how they catch the ball. My favorite player growing up was Michael Vick. He played for the Atlanta Falcons. I just, admired him and had, his jersey, pictures of him, the blanket and everything. And I always wanted to be that kind of quarterback, like a, good throwing quarterback, but also, being able to run as well outside the pocket and everything. When I started growing up a little bit, I was still young, around I could say 12, 13. I started realizing that, for football, that you had to be, of course, bigger, stronger and everything. And I always played basketball on the side, but it was just something I played for fun. It wasn't nothing I took serious. I went to open gym back home, and I saw, players, how they played the game. And I went out there, and for me, not ever practicing it, and I saw that I had a little bit of talent in it, I was like, let me try this out. So I tried it out, and I started at a low level. I was on the second team. So that was my first time really taking it serious, and I played well on that level. And I felt like, that if I can get better at this, it could be good for me. So I made the decision, which was a tough decision, when I got to high school, to stop playing football and just focus my attention on basketball. I remember having a talk in the car with my mom, and she was like, you got to pick one. And whichever one you're gonna pick, you gotta go all out at. My attention had to be on one, and I chose basketball, and once I did that, I just put everything into it. I did my homework and had free time. I went outside in front of my house. I had a basketball goal and just shot, played. After school or before school we could play, I played. Every time in the gym, at school, I played, I practiced. I just put everything into it, and I just saw myself getting better and better, every day I felt like. I didn't start seeing that it could take me somewhere, outside of the States and professionally and all that, until probably my junior year in high school, when I started getting looks from different colleges. I chose to go to Weber State, and because they recruited me the hardest. They felt like they were the most real to me. What they were saying to me, it felt true. I thought I was working hard in high school and growing up, but I learned that working out was a complete different story when I got there. They worked out everywhere, in the weight room, on the track, on the court, and times 10 what I was doing. So I learned what real hard work was when I got there. I always had that competitiveness in me. That's just something I got growing up. So that mixed in with learning how to really work hard and really crafting my skills with great coaches just brought everything together in me, I think. And I had great teammates along the way, and we were able to do some big things there. We came up short in the championship games in our conference to go to the NCAA tournament. We lost in overtime, and that still kind of gets to me. But stuff happens, and I learned from that. Right after my senior year season, I took a week off, trying to figure out what agency I was going to go with. And then after that week, I got straight back in the gym. I wanted to get to the NBA, so I knew that the three-point line was further back, so I started shooting deeper threes, working on that, just working on everything I could think of, that was gonna come at me at the next level. I had a lot of NBA workouts.
NBA draft a week from tomorrow. Jazz bringing in 6 more players for workouts this morning, including former Weber State guard Jeremy Senglin.
I surprised teams coming out of a smaller school. They weren't expecting me to do so well. Draft night came. I thought I had a chance to go second round for sure, late second round. That's what my agent was telling me and everything. But that didn't turn out right. Felt bad about it because everybody wants to hear their name called. But that didn't break me. Right after the draft, I talked with the Brooklyn Nets, and they were coming at me with a deal, and I just felt like it was the best for me to go to Summer League with them. I was able to, make their training camp and preseason roster, and then after that, I went down to the G League. I learned a lot from the G League because I was used to being the main guy in college and playing a lot of minutes, starting and all that, and then going to the G League, I had to kind of work my way up again, starting from scratch. I got humbled a lot, at the beginning, not playing so much, playing like 12, 15 minutes, not scoring as much as I'm used to scoring. And that humbled me a lot, and that just made me want to work harder and, made me go crazy a little bit because I'm not used to it. So I went through a little down moment, but that's when I learned how to stay positive. Had a great supporting cast telling me to just keep going, everything will come. And so I just kept with it, and towards like the late January, I start, having breakout games, starting to score more than I did in college at times, and, just putting up good numbers, and, everything was balancing out. I just felt good about it. We ended up almost making the playoffs. I learned a lot that year from humbling myself and, learning that everything will balance out at the end of the season if you keep putting that work in. That's how that experience went. Right after that, I was able to go home for a little bit. And then I got a deal from Ludwigsburg, Germany. They said that they needed, my help to push them in the playoffs. The players were tired. They were doing a lot. They made it through Champions League. They made it to the Final Four and everything. So needed somebody to come in. So, I decided to do that. That'll be a great opportunity for me, especially if my career had to end up in Europe for some time. It would teach me, how to be away from home because I've never been that far away from home. And I spent almost 2 months there, had a great time, learned a lot. It's like I had to start over again. They already been together for 8 or so months, and, having to, pick up what they're doing, pick up just as quick as I could, fit in as much best as I could. And that was a tough thing for me, but again, it taught me a lot, and, I'm thankful that I went about that and did that, because all these things, from when I grew up to then, taught me a lot and made me who I am today. After, last year finished up, I was able to do mini camps, and I'm thankful for those too. Taught me, a lot, because there's a lot of people in those and you're trying to shine, and I felt like I did a great job in those mini camps. I took like a week off after that again, and before I start working out again. And that's when I start getting in contact with Nanterre. When I got to Paris, Pascal and Frank, we went to dinner, and they drove me. I was driving through, Paris, and saw the Eiffel Tower, the Arc of Triomphe, all that stuff, a lot of France and everything. And, that was just like a eye-opener for me, and it was crazy just because I'd never seen anything like that. Growing up and back home, hearing the stories about and seeing pictures of the Eiffel Tower and all that stuff, to actually seeing it in person was pretty cool. Getting here on the court and competing with my teammates from the jump, I saw that we were going to have a great team, just because everybody had a different set of skill to complement one another, and everybody had that competitive drive and edge. Being here, it's just an honor to play, and it's fun to play just because everything ties in. The fans help, the coaching staff, from everybody. We're like a family, and I think that's what makes us compete and play well on the court, because at the end of the day we know that everybody has our back. Being with a group like this is it's something that you gotta enjoy, because it's not always like this wherever you go. Our relationships are still growing, and we're still learning from one another, and we're still getting better. That shows that I think we can do some big things, and that's what we're trying to do. Off the court, my teammates can attest to this. I'm just a fun, talkative, energetic person. I just like to play video games. That's all I do. Talk on the phone with some friends, my girlfriend, my mom, my sister sometimes, my dad as well. When I'm back home, I've never been that type of person to go out and party and all that. So I just like being around my family and friends back home, and just go to movies, arcades, bowling, little stuff like that. Events where there's not too many people around, and you can experience that time with that person you're with. That's the type of person I think I am off the court. The man I want to be, besides basketball and all that, is I just want to be that person who helps people. Everything I've learned from the time when I was a kid to now, the stuff I've been through, I just want to help people by keeping their mental positive, their life positive, You know, I want to be that family guy who's always there for his family, you know, in every way they need. And I just want to just be that person. I always love, and I love that feeling when you give somebody something. If it's not just material things, it's, you know, mental things. Like if they need that positivity or whatever they need, you know, I just want to be that person to always give back and help people. So whenever I'm done with basketball, hopefully a long time from now, that's probably what I'll be looking into. I just want to be remembered as, you know, that person to always, you know, that will always give back and always help people out.